Good morning, friends, and welcome back to She's At It Again. My name is Tanya. I'm going to make a new recipe. I saw this being shown on a YouTube channel that I watch called Acre Homestead, and Becky is just so stinking cute. She makes things and people are just raving over it. Sometimes I try them and I've never made anything yet that wasn't good. So this is another one of those things. She got a black stone griddle. Tanya does not have a black stone griddle, but I'm going to try these just in a plain old iron skillet. But it'll be a process that kind of takes me throughout the day. I'm going to make my corn tortillas first of all this morning, then I'll make the Caesar dressing, and then we'll finish it up later on with making the full product. But these are called Caesar chicken smash tacos. So we got to let our masa dough rest for a while before we make our tortillas. So let's go get busy on that and see how these taste. I've never had Caesar dressing in my life. I don't think I've ever had anything Caesar anything. I've heard people rave about it, but we're going to see what the rave's all about. I'm not opposed to using something that has anchovies in it. When Becky made this, she said she didn't like the anchovies, so she just doubled up on the Worcestershire sauce in it. But yeah, I'm not afraid of an anchovy, except for last year when I was in Rome. I was so tired, I thought I was ordering one kind of pizza, and when it showed up, it had all these little anchovies all over it, and I was like, what is this? And they convinced me that that is exactly what I ordered, and I really didn't doubt them because I was so tired. There's no telling what I'd ordered. Okay, we're going to start out making our corn tortillas. This is the flour I'm using. This just happens to be the one that I could find recently. There's another kind that I use. I forget the brand. I used it before, and it's my favorite, so I can't remember if I like this one a whole lot, but there's really not a bad one out there necessarily. You can't smell it. Nah, you can't smell it necessarily when you put it in the bowl, but when the hot water hits this, the flavor or not the flavor, but the odor of it, and which sounds bad, it's not though. The smell of it is just almost intoxicating. It's so good. So a cup of masa flour and about a fourth of a teaspoon of Himalayan pink salt. I'm still not thinking straight yet, I guess. All right, I'm getting my water. I'll heat it up. I want it to be nice and hot when I get it going here. I'm just going to use a little flat edge spoon. But this masa flour does smell really, really good once the hot water hits it. And we want our water to be pretty much as hot as you can get it, boiling. Okay. I have 3/4 of a cup of water in here. You could always add more water, but you can't add less. I guess I could add more corn masa to it. But I'm just following the directions on the back of this bag because I'm, honestly, if you want to know the truth, I'm in too big of a hurry because I got too many things to do this morning, and I didn't want to look up my own recipe. Isn't that sad? I have to make phone calls, and I do not like making phone calls. I could have probably added a few more drops of water to this, and I can always add more in a minute. I just wanted the hot water to get to it. It almost gives me the idea that it's blooming because the smell is so intense and it hydrates super quick when you add the water to it. Almost like when you put water into cocoa, and it's the technical term they use for that is blooming. But this has such a good smell to it. This is just a tad dry. I think I'm going to add a tiny bit of water to it. And this is not hot water, sadly enough. I'm just going to put a little bit of water in it to get a dough formed. I'm going to be putting a plate on top of this. I think I used a shower cap for something here recently, and somebody asked in the comments, why don't you just put a plate on top of it? And I thought, okay, well, that's an easy enough answer. Unless it's something that I need to put somewhere and it's in too big of a bowl to fit a platter onto it, I don't mind using a plate. So whoever that was that made the comment, thanks for the hint. but I do use a lot of those hotel shower caps. I buy them in bulk, and they're good for, you know, keeping gnats out or keeping dust out or whatever. Of course, there's no dust in my house or gnats, but I'm just kidding. There's dust everywhere. Okay, that's about the consistency. We want that. It feels the texture of Play-Doh. All right, I'm going to put this plate on it. We're going to let this sit for a while and just hydrate those granules, and we'll be back to make our tortillas, and we'll make our dressing too. All right, I'm going to make some corn tortillas. I'm not going to make a whole lot of them, but I'm only going to show making one of them because it can just get long and drawn out, and it's just repetitious. So this is my dough. I'm going to make, I think this is supposed to make about 6 of these, but I think I might want to make 4 bigger ones instead of 6 smaller ones. I could have probably added a little bit more water to this. I just don't like it too watery, but this is a little on the dry side, but not enough to where I can't work with it, I don't think. I say that, but I may be doing these over again. So I'm breaking it up just like Play-Doh and shape it into a ball as best you can. And this is a zip top bag that I have cut 2 sides off of. So the zipper part and then one side of it. I'm going to put it right there in the center. And you may be wondering why I had this towel on here, because this handle is kind of heavy, and if I ever just let go of it, that would be a loud noise and probably damage the countertop somehow. I don't know. And you don't peel the tortilla off the plastic, you peel the plastic off the tortilla. I think I want to try to get that a little bit flatter. There we go. That's pretty flat. So let's go over here. Let me set this right here. I'm just going to plop it down just like that. I have my burner. My burner goes low, 1 through 6, and then high for the big size burner. And then I normally set it on 2. I have a little tag of paper, a little sticky note up inside my cabinet door that tells me certain items, what to put the burner on just from experience. Like 2 is for tortillas or pancakes, 4 is for pork chops, 3 is for fried eggs, and 3 is for flatbreads. So at least I know what temperature to cook those in. When I feel the heat coming through, that's normally a good sign to turn it over. And I have my dish towel over here. This is just for bread baking. And I've made kind of a little pocket here it's folded in half, and then the end third of it I've folded under. So it kind of makes a little pocket. It keeps the humidity in just a bit. Now, when we make our smashed tacos, this will be kind of cooked again, if you will. It's interesting how these things look. When she was making them on her YouTube video, I was like, what in the world? That's got to be wrong. She's fixing to redo that. But nope, she cooked them that way. And I was intrigued enough to where I thought, ooh, that actually looks good. And again, I've never had anything Caesar salad in my life, so this may be a good, maybe not so good experience. I just don't know. Okay, so I don't want these cooked so much that it dries them out. So you get what we're doing here. And if you don't make your tortillas, if you just buy your tortillas, good for you. I can't find any in my local area that is organic or at least non-GMO corn. So if you're eating some and it says non-GMO, good for you for finding them. I can't find it here. And I don't want any that doesn't say anything because it means it's probably genetically modified. So I don't like bioengineered, I don't like genetically modified. We'll do okay without it. Okay, so I'm gonna take this off, put it inside this little pocket right here that I've made, and that's our one tortilla. Okay, next step will be making the salad, but I gotta make the other tortillas now. Okay, because I am a goof, for some reason I did not hit the button on my remote mic right here. I just did a whole video section of how to make this dressing. So I'm going to tell you how to make this dressing. I grabbed this jar, it was empty, and in it I put half a cup of homemade mayonnaise, and using this spatula I put it in this jar. I also added 4 anchovy fillets, and they're little hairy looking little fish. Now mine were wrapped around some pretty hefty sized caper berries, and so I just removed the caper berries and I smashed them up with the spatula in the bowl. I have 4 cloves of garlic minced, which was a little over a teaspoon of minced garlic. A teaspoon and a half of Worcestershire sauce, 3/4 of a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, a tablespoon of lemon juice, not from concentrate kind, this is just straight lemon juice. A teaspoon and a half of Parmesan Reggiano, grated really, really fine. And I put it in this jar and I stirred it up. So this is what we have. And then I checked my camera and there was no sound. I did that the other day and I did it again just now. So gotta look for the blue lights. All I did was looked at the video and went, the blue lights aren't on. So anyway, now you know. So I just put it in here, stirred it up. It looks like it made, I think this line is about up to here with the ingredients. So this is about half of what Becky made on her YouTube video for the dressing. She was excited because she was going to have leftovers so she could have Caesar salad. But I don't know if I like this yet. I've never had Caesar dressing before. So if I like it a lot, I'll just make more. If I would have made twice this much, I'd have used up some valuable mayonnaise because it takes me time to make the mayonnaise. And it's not hard to make. It just is time consuming because I have to get out the ingredients. So I'm very, very frugal with the mayonnaise. But this gives me enough to where if I like it, great, I can make more. If not, I didn't waste any. So otherwise, they'd be thrown in the trash. And you know how I don't like throwing things in the trash. Okay, so we're going to wait till it's closer to dinner time. We're going to assemble our smashed tacos. I grated extra Parmesan and put it in a jar in the fridge so we'll have it because it's part of the toppings for this. And I'm quite excited about serving this tonight. So I'm excited to share it with you. We're only going to make 4 of these. Well, actually, we'll probably make 2 of them. And then I'll make a couple maybe the next day. I don't know. Might take some over to the neighbors. Who knows? Anyway, I'm excited about showing you this, and I'm excited about tasting them. So we'll see you in just a bit, and it'll be later on today. Okay, let's get this show on the road. I got my hair pulled back. I have been doing yard work. As soon as I turned the camera off a while ago, I headed outside, and I'm doing some re-landscaping in the backyard. I think I've said that in other videos. But even if I don't put my work gloves on, I cannot help but start picking up bricks and moving things around and digging. It's like I can make the biggest mess. I am worse than a 3-year-old getting in the dirt. I cannot stay clean. So I really shouldn't even be cooking right now, but at least I'm clean enough to cook. But I will be showering soon after dinner. Okay, the first thing we want to do is make our Caesar salad to go on our tacos. So I'm only going to use part of this because I'm only making 2 of these tonight. I'll probably make the other 2 tomorrow night. So part of the dressing. I've got a dog over there in my leather chair scratching the cushion because a rainstorm just went through. And she is terrified of the thunder, so there's nothing I can do to calm her down. Okay, put about half of it in there. That's not a very pleasant color, actually, is it? I also need half of a lemon, or the juice of about half of a lemon. I'm probably not going to put quite that much in there, just because I'm not doing the whole amount of dressing. So I'm just stirring it up. And I have my romaine already sliced up into tiny slivers. That's my favorite way. Give that a toss and set this aside. The next thing we're going to do is add just some kind of random seasoning. It's basic, but random seasonings to our ground chicken. All right, that's coated pretty well. I'll set that aside. Let's get our chicken out of the refrigerator. I already have it in a bowl. And this is just 1 pound of ground chicken. To that, we're going to add just a teaspoon of a lot of stuff. A teaspoon of salt. Zoe, stop doing that. I ground up some black pepper. A teaspoon of that. Which sounds kind of like a lot, but you think about it, chicken has no flavor. Unlike beef, you know, if you cook beef, there's some flavor to it. Same with pork, but chicken, nothing. I guess it kind of takes superpowers to taste chicken if it doesn't have any seasoning on it. I'm not one of those people. I like mine well seasoned. A teaspoon of garlic powder. Oh, and that was paprika also. So salt, pepper, paprika, garlic powder, and then onion powder. My husband thinks he's being stealth walking through the kitchen. Okay, my fork. Just going to take and stir this around and get those seasonings mixed in there. When Becky did this on her Blackstone, I think she spread the chicken on her tortillas and then she just sprinkled some salt and pepper on. I think she said she didn't have something, another, but I'm just wondering if this is really going to make that big of a difference. And it's not too hard to mix up. Okay, that's what we're looking at. Just a blob of ground chicken. Now, like I said, I'm only going to do 2 of these. So, I've got my tortillas right here. When they cool off, they kind of have this bowl shape to them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of eyeball this and divide it into 4ths. And put about a 1/4 of it on each of these. And when I saw her doing this, I was like, what is she doing? Taking raw chicken and putting on a tortilla. But you're going to fry it, so it's okay. And I have added uncured bacon grease to my skillet. I don't have a Blackstone. It's not outside. I don't want it sticking to my skillet, so that's what we're doing here. And I have the skillet preheating right now. Storming 10 minutes ago. Right now the sun is shining like crazy. I can see it reflecting off my neighbor's house, and it's so bright out there. That was just one of those fluke springtime rain showers. We've been getting them about every day now, which I'm not complaining about it. I don't necessarily want to be outside when it's storming, but I do like the fact that we're getting rain and the grass is so pretty and green right now. It's beautiful here in Arkansas. All right, spread that out to the sides as much as you can. I'm going to put this back in the fridge just like that. And I'll address that later and put it in a different container. Okay, I'm going to move my camera over here to the oven so you can see, or over the stovetop so you can see. Okay, my skillet is hot. I know that because it's smoking. All right, I'm going to take these. Now, this is the advantage to having a Blackstone. You can cook like 6 of these at a time probably. On my skillet, I can only cook 1. So flip it over. Could put my bacon weight on this. This is one of those things, this bacon press is one of those things. I thought I needed one of these when I got married. I've had this over 40 years because I've been married over 40 years. And I thought I needed that. I never use it for bacon, but I use it for other things like this, which is kind of fun. Sometimes grilled sandwiches or something like that, it comes in super handy because it's got a lot of weight to it. Okay, it says fry these on each side for about 2 or 3 minutes, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, the chicken isn't necessarily sticking to the tortilla, but it is browning up nicely. I just want to make sure it's cooked on both sides. I can kind of see the color difference now than when I first put it in the skillet because, of course, it was pink and now it's turned white. So good indication that it's cooked all the way through. But I want to make sure. Okay, I think this is ready to take off. I'm going to put the other one in the skillet, and that way we can have it cooking while we fix this one. So let's go over here, and I'll show you what toppings go in here. So we have our Caesar salad, and this is what this looks like. That's a little bit closer look. You can see that crispy top on it. Put a bit of our Caesar salad. This is our grated Parmesan Reggiano. Grated to look like snow. That's what happens when you grate it with a rasp. And then these are one of my favorite snacks in the world, this and fried jalapenos. I could open this can and just eat it. I'll eat the whole thing. But this is nice because These are organic, and they are coated with buckwheat flour, and so they're gluten-free. I don't have a gluten sensitivity, but if you have a gluten sensitivity, gluten-free. This whole meal is gluten-free because it's a corn tortilla. Now, you can use a flour tortilla. The recipe said you could use either or, but I chose to make corn tortillas. Oh, I'll save that one to eat. That one's too yummy. I was snacking on these before I turned the camera on. Okay, this is what our taco looks like. And you just fold it like that. And there you go. How fun is that? But when you let go, it kind of flattens back out again. But that's okay. Okay, I'm gonna eat mine. Mine's over there cooking in the skillet. And this is my husband's. He's just fresh out of the shower because he's been doing yard work when he came up from work. So he'll enjoy this. He came in a while ago when I had the camera turned off and said, "Ooh, something smells really good." I was like, "I promise you it's not me." Because I've been outside too long. But anyway, hope you have enjoyed this. The recipe will be in the description as always, and we look forward to sharing something again with you real soon. Give this a try. You could even put this out on the grill. Get your flat pan out there and cook it outside. That might be fun. So, see ya.